The Grand Galactic Council Hall was silent, though hundreds of alien leaders had gathered under the glowing lights. Every corner of the vast chamber shimmered with strange colors, and hundreds of floating screens displayed star maps and intelligence reports. The leaders had come from every corner of the galaxy, each proud of their civilizations and confident in their power. None of them expected what was about to happen. Suddenly the room flickered. A strange, static-like hum filled the hall. The lights dimmed. Then, in the center of the chamber, a holographic projection appeared, and every head turned to see it. It was a human face. Pale, tired, scarred. His eyes burned with an intensity that made even the oldest alien leaders shiver. For a moment, nobody spoke. Nobody moved. Then the voice came. Slow, calm, and deadly. We offered peace. You answered with fire. Now you will know what you've awakened. A stunned silence followed. Then, as if to break the tension, laughter rang out. Aliens chuckled, some shaking their heads. Humans, one of them whispered. After 200 years they're gone. Extinct. Nothing but old legends. But not everyone laughed. Some of the older leaders who had lived through the Great Purge felt a chill run down their spines. Something about the way the humans spoke. It was not fear. It was warning. Deep in the black void between stars, near the ruins of old Earth, a strange disturbance stirred. Energy readings, once thought impossible, began to pulse across galactic scanners. Ancient human war machines, thought destroyed centuries ago, showed faint but unmistakable activity. The remnants of humanity were not just alive, they were awakening. The Council immediately ordered a patrol fleet to investigate. Hundreds of ships were dispatched, armed with the latest alien technology, confident they would meet little resistance. Orders were clear: scan the region, report back, and ensure the humans posed no threat. Hours passed. Then a day. Then longer. One by one the reports stopped coming. The Council waited anxiously, but only silence answered their calls. Finally, a single transmission broke through the static, chilling every listener in the chamber. They're back. Whispers filled the hall. Some dismissed it as a hoax, an old war tactic meant to scare them. But Admiral Kalor, a veteran of hundreds of interstellar battles, did not laugh. His face was pale. Impossible, he muttered. The humans, they should be dead. Every record says they were destroyed in the Purge. Yet, something has survived. Strange images began appearing on galactic sensors. Ships moving without lights, strange signals transmitted across centuries-old communication channels, and energy bursts that no known alien weapon could produce. It was as if Earth itself had been rebuilding secretly, preparing silently for centuries. Meanwhile, in the Council Hall, debates erupted. Many argued that this was a trick, a hallucination, or some rogue human colony acting independently. Others warned of the history they had ignored, the centuries when humans had been underestimated, their cleverness and unrelenting survival instincts dismissed as primitive. We thought them weak, one leader said, voice trembling. We thought they could not fight, that they would vanish like dust. But we were wrong. Outside the safety of the hall, across distant star systems, aliens began to notice changes. Mining colonies reported strange equipment moving on its own, fleets detected unexplained stealth signatures, and communication satellites picked up messages in human code. Signals long considered indecipherable suddenly carried threats, calm, precise, and terrifying in their clarity. Back in the hall, the human face in the hologram faded, leaving only a lingering echo. We offered peace. You answered with fire. Every leader in that room understood the meaning. It was not a plea. It was not even a warning. It was the beginning of the reckoning. Admiral Kalor stood, his long robes swaying as he raised his voice. We have ignored their warnings for centuries. We treated peace as weakness. And now, we have awakened something we cannot control. Outside, the void seemed darker than ever. Stars glimmered coldly, indifferent. But within the shadows, movement began. Silent shapes, massive and hidden, glided through space. Machinery long forgotten hummed to life. Energy fields lit briefly, then vanished. Humanity's remnants were ready. The Council could not know it yet, but the galaxy was about to face something it had never imagined. A species thought extinct, a species underestimated, a species that had offered peace, and been rejected. From the dark edges of space, a single message repeated across every frequency the Council monitored. No sound, no elaboration, just 4 words. They're back. Watch closely. And in that moment, every alien present knew, the unexpected war had begun. Weeks passed since the last chilling broadcast from Earth. Across the galaxy, the alien worlds whispered fearfully about the mysterious human resurgence. Most of the leaders still could not believe it. They had studied humans for centuries, and every report had painted them as weak, short-lived, and incapable of long-term strategy. They were a primitive race, easily destroyed in the Great Purge. Or so they thought. In the outer sectors, a small scouting ship drifted through the void near a forgotten star system. Commander Raltek, an experienced alien officer, monitored the readings on the ship's instruments. His claws tapped nervously on the console. The sensors were picking up signals, faint, scattered, but unmistakably human. They were using old codes from centuries ago, ones long considered extinct. "This can't be," Raltek muttered. "They should not exist. Every record shows Earth destroyed, every colony wiped out." A flicker of movement passed on the view screen. Shadows glided through the blackness, moving faster than anything Raltek had ever seen. Ships? Machines? Or something else? He did not know, but instinct told him to prepare for battle. Meanwhile, the Grand Galactic Council struggled to understand the new threat. Ancient archives were dusted off, and historians pored over old texts of the human Dominion Wars. These were stories of human courage, brutality, and survival, of small, exhausted colonies standing against fleets 10 times their size. Tales of human ingenuity, of fighters who turned defeat into victory with nothing but their will and clever machines. Most of the council members scoffed at the stories. Old legends, they said. Exaggerated tales of a dead species. Yet Admiral Kalor, the veteran who had first warned them, felt a knot tighten in his chest. He remembered what he had witnessed decades ago. The humans' determination, their refusal to surrender, their uncanny ability to survive. It was almost unnatural. Reports from the border systems continued to arrive. Alien mining colonies found equipment moving on its own. Communication satellites picked up bursts of data in long-dead human languages. Entire fleets reported strange encounters, ships appearing and vanishing without trace. Each report ended the same way: humans somehow were everywhere and nowhere. Deep within the council hall, debates grew heated. Some leaders argued for a full strike, to crush humanity before it could grow stronger. Others warned that history showed humans were unpredictable, dangerous, and clever beyond measure. "We cannot underestimate them," said Kalor. "We thought we had won centuries ago. We were wrong. Dead wrong." Outside the hall, the galaxy began to change. In some systems, sensors recorded machines long thought lost moving through space. Ships from destroyed human colonies reappeared, fully operational and armed with advanced technology that seemed centuries ahead. In the shadows, human warships glided silently, never signaling their presence, never engaging until the moment was perfect. Colonies reported sightings of strange figures, humans in long-abandoned battle suits, their faces calm but their eyes burning with resolve. Some spoke only a few words. "We warned you once." No one knew how these humans survived. How they rebuilt, how they adapted, how they prepared. But it was clear, they were no longer the humans the galaxy had remembered. They were something else, stronger, smarter, and hungrier for justice. Back in the council hall, Kalor addressed the other leaders with urgency. "We believed peace could protect us. We thought the humans could not fight. We were fools. Every race here should remember, humans are survivors. We cannot bargain with them. We cannot predict them. And we cannot hope they will forgive." Outside, sensors picked up new anomalies. Fleets were vanishing without a fight, only to reappear far away, attacking alien outposts and then disappearing into the void again. It was as if humans had mastered space itself, moving undetected and striking with perfect precision. Some leaders finally understood the truth. Humanity's weakness was never weakness at all. It was patience. Their centuries of peace, of seeming inactivity, had been preparation, a slow, careful rebuilding of their strength. Every fleet destroyed, every colony crushed, every star taken, humans remembered it all. And now the galaxy was beginning to pay. Kalor closed his eyes. The knowledge weighed heavily on him. He had lived through wars. He had fought countless enemies. But nothing in his experience could prepare him for this. Humans were no longer just a species. They were a force of nature, a storm waiting to break across the stars. Far in the dark reaches of space, a lone human ship drifted silently. Its hull was scarred, its engines quiet, but inside, the crew monitored every system, every signal, every movement of the alien fleets. They were calm, patient, and deadly. Every attack they planned, every strike they would deliver, had been calculated over decades. They did not hurry. They did not panic. They did not fear. The galaxy, proud and confident, had made one fatal mistake. It had ignored the humans. And now the consequences were beginning to unfold. From hidden bases to ruined planets, human signals pulsed across space. Coded messages of warning, of strategy, of vengeance. Every alien system that intercepted them felt the same chill. The humans were back. They had survived. And they were ready to reclaim what had been taken. In the Grand Galactic Council Hall, Admiral Kalor stood silently, staring at the blank holoscreen where no human message appeared, yet he could feel them watching. Somewhere in the darkness, humanity was gathering strength. And when they struck, no one would forget it. A new fear spread among the leaders. This was no ordinary war. This was the return of the forgotten enemy, and the galaxy had underestimated them, at its own peril. Weeks passed, but the fear of humanity only grew. Entire alien systems had gone silent. Convoys vanished. Mining colonies stopped reporting. Communications from border outposts were filled with static, or worse, strange messages in long-forgotten human code. No one knew where the humans were. No one knew what they were planning. But everyone felt it, a growing sense of dread. Something was moving through the galaxy, silent, invisible, and deadly. Deep in the sector near the destroyed planet Vera, alien fleets patrolled cautiously. Commander Raltek's fleet was the most advanced in the region. Hundreds of warships glimmered under starlight, weapons primed, shields active. Yet the sensors showed nothing. No signals. No movement. Nothing at all. Then, just as the commander was about to order a routine scan, the entire fleet's communication network flickered. A single line appeared across every channel. "This is humanity. We warned you once." The words repeated slowly over and over, in a calm, emotionless voice. Every alien officer froze. The message was not a threat. It was a promise. A warning. Raltek's eyes widened. "Impossible. How are they here?" he whispered. But even as he spoke, the fleet sensors began to detect movement, or at least something that moved too fast and too perfectly to be ordinary ships. Then, from the dark edge of the sector, they appeared. Hundreds of ships, black as the void, no lights, no symbols, just shapes that seemed to glide silently through space. They moved as if they were one organism, weaving through the alien fleet without a sound. The aliens tried to attack. Weapons fired. Energy beams cut through the darkness. But every shot passed through empty space. The humans did not dodge. They simply were not there, not in the sensors, not in the tracking arrays. Then, without warning, the first strike came. Alien ships exploded simultaneously across the fleet. No warning. No battle cries. Just destruction. Raltek shouted orders, trying to regroup his fleet, but it was useless. The human ships moved faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. They struck, vanished, and reappeared somewhere else. Every maneuver was precise, calculated, deadly. In the council hall, alarms rang. Reports poured in from every border system. Fleets disappearing, planets under attack, colonies burning. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer hiding. They were returning, not for negotiation, not for peace, but for vengeance. Back in the sector, Raltek's surviving ships retreated to a nearby nebula. Sensors were failing, communications jammed. The humans seemed to know their every move. One officer screamed in panic. "They know our fleet before we even move." Raltek swallowed hard. He had been trained to face enemies he could see, to anticipate threats with intelligence reports. But this was something else. These humans were shadows in space. They were ghosts. They were unstoppable. In the darkness, Admiral Kalor monitored the situation from the Grand Galactic Council. His face was pale, eyes fixed on the live feed of the destroyed fleets. He spoke softly, more to himself than anyone else. "We were warned. They offered peace, and we answered with fire. Now we will pay the price." Meanwhile, human ships moved silently through the sectors. On board, the crew was calm, composed, and focused. They were not celebrating the destruction. They were completing a mission, following a plan that had been in motion for centuries. Every strike was precise. Every attack had a reason. Humanity was not fighting for chaos. They were fighting for justice. Some of the alien commanders tried to regroup their fleets and fight back. Others sent messages begging for truce. But it was too late. The humans did not respond to threats. They responded to actions. Every attack the aliens had launched, every colony destroyed, every act of war, humanity remembered it all. And now, the silent fleet was no longer silent. Ships that had seemed invisible were striking at every vulnerable point. No ship, no colony, no system was safe. And still, the humans moved without hesitation, without fear, without error. In one corner of the galaxy, a young alien pilot watched from his cockpit as his fleet commander's ship was torn apart. He could hear the cries of panic over the intercom. He could see the black shapes moving closer, faster than thought possible. And then he realized the truth. These were not humans as the galaxy remembered them. These were evolved humans. Perfect hunters. Ghosts of the past, risen to reclaim the stars. As the sun set on the ruined planet Vera, the silent fleet disappeared again, leaving only smoke, fire, and fear behind. The message from the humans repeated in every alien system. This is humanity. We warned you once. And the galaxy knew, finally, that nothing would ever be the same. Humanity had returned. Silent, patient, and deadly. The war that no one expected had begun. The galaxy was on edge. From the closest stars to the farthest colonies, rumors of humanity's return spread like wildfire. No system was safe. No fleet was invincible. Every alien civilization had underestimated humans once, and now they were beginning to see the cost of that mistake. On the scorched surface of the planet Vera, survivors of the earlier attack crawled from the wreckage. Smoke filled the air, twisted metal littered the ground, and distant alarms echoed through the mountains. Commander Raltek had lost most of his fleet. The few ships left were battered and retreating, carrying shattered soldiers and stunned officers. In orbit, human warships glided silently, almost serene, their weapons glowing faintly. There were no victory cries, no celebrations, only calm precision. Every laser strike, every missile, every maneuver had been calculated long before it was executed. This was not a revenge fueled by anger. It was a cold, focused fury born of centuries of survival. "Look at them," muttered a young alien officer, pointing to the human ships. "They move like shadows. Like hunters. They're not like anything we've fought before." Raltek nodded grimly. "We've made a mistake. A mistake we will pay for with our lives. Humanity, they are not just strong. They are unstoppable." Back in the Grand Galactic Council, panic spread like wildfire. Messages came from across the galaxy. Entire colonies destroyed, entire fleets vanished, worlds abandoned. The Council could no longer deny the truth. Humanity had risen from the ashes of its destruction, stronger, smarter, and hungrier than ever. Admiral Kalor watched the reports in horror. He had warned the Council decades ago, but no one had listened. They had laughed at his words. Humans are extinct. They cannot fight. Peace will hold. Now the peace they had relied on had been shattered. Humanity's rage was unstoppable, and the galaxy had no defense. Meanwhile, the humans moved strategically. Planets that had been attacked centuries ago, wiped from maps and forgotten, were now receiving silent visits. Human forces scanned, analyzed, and prepared for their strikes. Each colony, each fleet, each base was marked. Every detail was remembered, every act of aggression catalogued. Humanity had offered peace once, but they had been answered with fire. And now the galaxy would burn under their calculated wrath. On the planet Lysara, an alien colony tried to mount a defense. Hundreds of ships fired at a distant signal detected on their sensors. But the human ships never responded directly. They appeared, struck with pinpoint precision, and vanished. The colony's defenders were left with nothing but scorched land, broken machines, and terrified civilians. Reports from across the galaxy told the same story. Humans did not fight like other species. They were everywhere and nowhere. They struck only when necessary, choosing their targets carefully and never hesitated. Energy readings from their technology were centuries ahead of what any alien race could imagine. The humans had rebuilt, adapted, and evolved. "Impossible," whispered one alien fleet commander as he watched another of his ships vanish into the void. "They should be dead. They should not exist, and yet they strike." In the Grand Galactic Council, chaos reigned. Leaders shouted, blamed each other, and tried to form emergency strategies. But nothing worked. Humanity was always one step ahead. Every fleet sent to intercept them failed. Every plan devised to stop them collapsed under their calculated attacks. Admiral Kalor remained calm amidst the chaos. Calm but determined. He understood something the others did not. Humanity's rage was not blind fury. It was justice. Every attack, every strike, every act of destruction had a purpose. Humanity remembered what had been done to them, the purge, the betrayals, the centuries of underestimation, and now they were repaying every debt with interest. On board a massive human warship, Captain Elias Ward observed the destruction through the viewport. The fleet moved silently, organized, and deadly. He turned to his crew, a mixture of humans and AI commanders. We were offered peace once, Elias said quietly. They refused it. Now, we remind them who we are. No one celebrated. No one cheered. They had a mission and every strike was deliberate. Planets were liberated from alien control, but the humans did not linger. Fleets that had ruled star systems for centuries were toppled. Yet humanity left no unnecessary destruction. It was retribution, precise and unstoppable. Back in the galaxy, alien leaders whispered fearfully in the shadows of their chambers. Even those who had doubted the humans now spoke their names in hushed tones. Human, unstoppable. Human, revenge. Human, fear. And in the midst of all this, a single thought spread among the survivors. The humans were no longer just a species. They were a force of history, memory, and fury. The kind of enemy that could not be bargained with, could not be predicted, and could never be ignored. As the stars burned quietly in the void, the humans continued their campaign. Silent ships moved like shadows, precision strikes unfolded across systems, and colonies whispered the legend of the race they had once dismissed. Humanity had awakened. Their rage was unleashed. And the galaxy would never forget the lesson of the past. Never mistake peace for weakness. The Grand Galactic Council had never been so tense. From the highest-ranking elders to the newest delegates, fear gripped every heart. The humans, once dismissed as weak and extinct, had returned with a vengeance the galaxy could not have imagined. Entire fleets had been destroyed, colonies had fallen, and alien leaders had begun to realize that this war was unlike anything they had faced before. Admiral Kalor stood in the center of the council hall, his eyes fixed on the holoscreens displaying the ongoing devastation. Each system under human assault was marked in red, a silent map of chaos and calculated destruction. He had fought wars before, but nothing compared to the precision, patience, and sheer force of the humans. Suddenly, a communication signal appeared on the council's main channel. The voice that had haunted the galaxy for decades, calm, precise, and deadly, filled the hall. We offered peace. You chose war. Now we claim what is ours. The council members froze. It was not a demand. It was a declaration. And behind the voice, images flashed across the hall. The ruined fleets, scorched colonies, and silent human ships gliding through the void. It was a reminder. Humanity remembered every attack, every betrayal, every loss. The leader of the council, Zorith, tried to speak, but his voice faltered. We seek parley. We wish to stop the bloodshed. The humans did not answer. Instead, their fleet appeared at the edge of the system. Thousands of ships, perfectly organized, glowing with faint blue light. Not a single alien vessel could penetrate their formation. It was a silent, unyielding wall. Admiral Kalor turned to the council. It is over. We cannot fight them. Every fleet we send is destroyed before it even reaches them. Every attempt at diplomacy fails. Humanity is no longer a race to bargain with. They are a force of nature. Desperate, the council sent their top negotiators to open communications again. Holographic screens appeared in the center of the hall. On them was a human captain, older now, hardened by centuries of planning, but calm. You have destroyed peace, he said simply. You have refused our warnings. You have taken our homes, our colonies, our people. We offered mercy once. Now mercy is gone. Silence filled the hall. Even the most stubborn leaders felt the weight of his words. Humanity had waited centuries, hidden in shadows, planning, rebuilding, evolving. And now the galaxy was paying the price. One alien ambassador dared to speak. We were not prepared. We thought humans were extinct. We did not know, we did not see. The human captain's eyes narrowed. You saw, but you did not care. You laughed. You destroyed. And now you face the consequences. Outside the council hall, the human fleet slowly surrounded the capital system. Not a shot was fired. Not a weapon engaged. Yet the threat was absolute. The council members felt it in their bones. The humans could strike anytime, anywhere, and there would be nothing to stop them. Admiral Kalor clenched his fists. We ignored the past, he whispered. We thought peace meant weakness. And now, we are paying. The human captain continued, voice calm but firm. We do not seek to annihilate your species. We do not fight without reason. But understand this, the galaxy must respect humanity. Those who attack, those who destroy, those who refuse peace, they will face our wrath. A sudden hush fell over the hall. For the first time, alien leaders realized the humans were not seeking conquest. They were not seeking chaos. They were demanding respect. They were enforcing justice. Reports came in from surrounding systems. Alien ships attempting to flee were intercepted. Colonies that had attacked humans in the past were abandoned in terror. Everywhere humans had once been wronged, their presence was felt again, quiet and deadly. Council leader Zorth finally bowed his head. We should have listened. We should have honored their peace. We failed. Kalor shook his head slowly. It is too late for apologies. Only action remains. From the void, the human fleet projected a final message across every system. You destroyed peace when it was offered. Now peace will come only after justice. The council realized the full meaning. Humanity was not just fighting for survival. They were teaching a lesson the galaxy would never forget. Every strike, every fleet destroyed, every system liberated was a reminder. Never underestimate humans, never ignore their warnings, and never mistake peace for weakness. In the dark corners of the council hall, whispers spread among delegates. The humans, they are unstoppable. They are patient, clever, perfect. We will never survive if they continue. Kalor looked out the window of the hall at the stars beyond. The human fleet gleamed in the distance, silent, organized, and terrifyingly powerful. Humanity had returned. They had offered peace. They had been answered with fire. And now the galaxy would understand their rage. And for the first time in centuries, every alien leader in the hall knew one thing with certainty. The humans were no longer just survivors. They were a reckoning. The galaxy had never been so silent. Across countless star systems, alien leaders whispered in fear, fleets had been shattered, colonies lay in ruin, and every living being knew the humans had returned. Humanity had waited, rebuilt, and risen stronger than anyone could have imagined. The time for warning was over. Now the humans were delivering their final message, one that no alien could ignore. In the Grand Galactic Council Hall, leaders gathered one last time. Even the bravest of them had grown pale. Every holoscreen displayed live images of human fleets surrounding key systems, silent, precise, unstoppable. The Council's communication channels were full of broken, panicked messages from commanders who had attempted to resist. None had survived to tell their tales. Then, across the central holo network, the human transmission appeared. The same face from centuries ago, scarred, weary, but unyielding, now looked directly at the galaxy. His eyes burned with calm authority. The room fell completely silent, every alien leader frozen in place. We are humanity, he said slowly. We offered peace. We were ignored. We were attacked. We were hunted. And now? He paused, and the room seemed to tremble with the weight of his words. Now the galaxy will know what it means to awaken human vengeance. The projection shifted, showing systems across the galaxy. Worlds previously thought safe now burned under coordinated strikes, but every move was deliberate, every target precise. This was not chaos. This was justice, and every alien race could see it unfold before their eyes. In the council hall, the delegates whispered frantically. They are not monsters. They are perfect. Everything they do is calculated. We cannot fight them. Nothing we have can stop them. Even the elders who had survived centuries of wars were shaken. They had underestimated humans, again. Admiral Kalor, standing at the center of the hall, remained calm. He had seen the patterns, studied the strikes, understood the intelligence behind every human maneuver. He spoke softly, almost to himself. This is not a war of rage. It is a war of memory. Humanity remembers every injustice, every betrayal. They do not forget. And they do not forgive lightly. Outside the hall, human fleets moved silently, gliding between stars like shadows. Ships that had once been destroyed returned, rebuilt and enhanced. Machines long thought lost were now allies of humanity, guided by human strategy and intelligence. The galaxy could not hope to match their precision, speed, or foresight. Back inside the council, Zorth, the leader, finally bowed his head. We should have listened, he whispered. We should have honored their peace. Instead we laughed. We destroyed. And now we face the consequences. The human projection continued, voice calm but filled with authority. Peace was offered once. We forgave once. And yet you answered with fire. Now, every system that threatens peace, every fleet that attacks without reason will face humanity. We are not invaders. We are not conquerors. We are the consequence of your choices. The words spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Alien colonies watched in disbelief as human fleets moved without hesitation, eliminating threats, reclaiming lost territories, and leaving no room for error. Every strike, every tactical maneuver, every silent approach was a lesson in patience, precision, and power. Kalor turned to the council and said plainly, You cannot bargain with them. You cannot negotiate. You cannot stop them. Humanity is no longer a species to be underestimated. They are the reckoning. In the darkness of space, human ships glimmered faintly, silent and organized. No victory celebrations, no cries of triumph. Only calm, focused determination. Humanity's mission was complete: to remind the galaxy that peace is not weakness, that every act of aggression has a consequence, and that a species underestimated is a species that cannot be controlled. A final transmission echoed across every system. We are not monsters. We are survivors. Remember this lesson: never mistake peace for weakness again. Humanity will endure. Humanity will prevail. The projection faded. Silence filled the Grand Galactic Council Hall. Alien leaders, stunned, whispered to one another. For the first time in millennia, they felt the weight of human memory, human patience, and human determination. The galaxy had underestimated a species once. It would never happen again. Kalor looked out at the stars, his face shadowed but resolute. They have offered the final lesson. Now, every race in the galaxy will remember the name, humanity. And in the void of space, across destroyed fleets, abandoned colonies and silent systems, the humans continued their slow, deliberate march. They did not celebrate. They did not gloat. They had delivered their warning, enforced their justice, and reminded the galaxy that survival is not given, it is earned. From that day forward, no star system, no fleet, no leader dared underestimate humanity again. Their rage had been unleashed. Their message had been broadcast. And the galaxy would never forget the lesson of Earth's final transmission. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a force it could neither predict nor ignore. Humanity had returned, patient, deadly, unstoppable. The final broadcast was over, but the consequences would echo for centuries to come. The war had begun, and humanity had already won the first battle.